Senator Siewert. Senator Canavan.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. And I want to start this afternoon by complimenting the Greens. I think I've probably been here 7 months and haven't said a kind word about the Greens, so it is remiss of me. But I do want to pay them a compliment this afternoon, because I think the urgency motion they put forward today is a very good one, a very timely one, and a very urgent one. It's good to see senators bringing issues to this chamber that are policy related, that are about the issues that the people in Australia want us to talk about, that the issues that they've wanted action from us for years. And this one is a very important issue, and I'm glad to see the government has taken some action last week. And I do hear what Senator Siewert has to say, that we've been waiting years for this. Why can't we do it tomorrow? Well, the government has announced precisely what it will do. Of course, now it has to make sure those designs are put in place and the appropriate regulations are done. That, in my understanding, will be happening in months, not years. So that's a great thing. I'll get to the detailed design in a second, but I wanted to start by saying this is not just something that Australians want. It's something that everybody everywhere wants. They want to know where their food came from. It's an increasing issue across the world, where we now have a global food marketplace. Not that long ago, most of the food we would have eaten would have come not that far from our home. But now, with refrigerated transport, with global supply chains, the food we eat can come from all around the world, and people want to know where that food comes from. Last year I was in China, and I'll tell you what, people in China want to know where their food comes from. They really want to know. When you walk into a Chinese supermarket, you can see they've got different sections for different countries. It is clearly labelled, and you actually understand what you're buying and where it comes from. You go to our supermarkets here in Australia, and it's a complete melange. It's a complete potpourri. You have very little idea where your food comes from. Their labels are confusing, and there are significant vagueness and get-out clause from the safe harbour provisions which currently exist in our country of origin food labelling laws, and that creates confusion for consumers. And when there's confusion, people ignore it. When they don't understand what's on the front of their product, they don't read it. When it's not clear, people don't worry about using it. We have, in the last couple of decades in Australia, greatly improved the information about what's in our food, whether how much salt is in there, how much sugars are in there, how much energy is in our food. Pretty much everything you pick up these days, you can tell it's the same table with the same information across a variety of processed and non-processed foods. We need something similar in this area as well. Because that information is consistent, people pick up a box of cereal, pick up a chocolate bar, and they can have a look at that table and actually use it. And I think the Blewett Review, which came out a couple of years ago, found that table of information was increasingly used by consumers because it was consistent across products and it was easy to understand. Now, we need something similar in country of origin food labelling, because we don't have an easy to understand model at the moment. And that's why both the Industry Minister, Ian Macfarlane, and the Agriculture Minister, sorry, not Senator anymore, Mr Barnaby Joyce, have both said that we need a system that people can easily see and work out when they pick something up. They know whether it's Australian or not. And we're going to put something like a pie chart. It sounds very technical, but it'll be very easy to understand, where a circle and how much it's coloured in, but it tells you how much comes from this country. So if it's all coloured in and all shadings there, it'll be 100% Australian grown and produced. If it's 50%, half the circle will be coloured in. If there's no circle at all, it'll be less than 50% or no Australian produce. Very easy to understand, and it'll give our farmers and our food manufacturers a clear, identifiable marketing tool for them to advertise to consumers that if you want to buy Australian and you want to support Australian farmers, you know what to look for in the supermarkets. For those products that come imported, there will be labelling requirements about text that they'll have to put on their products about where it came from or what market it is produced in, and that text will have to be 30 to 50% larger than the surrounding text to make sure there's not a fine print issue. So the details are there. Some senators have said we don't need inquiries anymore, we can just act tomorrow. Well, in fact, the government has already made pretty clear what it wants to do. Obviously, we need now to define that in detail in law. We have to go through the proper process of government, which include taking a submission to Cabinet, which will include consultation with the backbench, which I presume also will be a form of committee review in this place. I don't think something like this would probably come in without some consideration from the Senate as well. So all those things must be done, and they should be done properly. But it is a great win for those that have been calling for this for some time that we finally have action. It is unfortunate that sometimes you need to have, I don't think it was a crisis in the last couple of weeks, but you have to have an incident to pressure people to change, but sometimes that's the way it's been. It's probably always been thus. But I haven't been involved myself, but want to pay tribute to people like Senator Siewert, Senator Sterle, I know Senator Williams, who sits next to me here. They've been working through these issues, and Senator Madigan, you too, I know, have been working through these issues for years, and because they put good ideas on the table, when the last week's incident occurs with frozen berries, those were the ideas that were picked up and taken up by the government. So I congratulate them, and I look forward to these new requirements coming in place.